Furious Driving, proud to be supported by Diamond Bright, protecting, cleaning and caring for the Furious fleet and for yours, with 10% off using code FD10. Follow the links in the description below. Hello and welcome to Furious Driving. Well, you're in the little Fiat today. I've been up to the British Motor Museum, home of Rustival of course, for Fiat and Friends, the first of a new show of, well, Italian cars, mostly Fiats obviously. I'll quickly drive around here to have a quick look at what we've been looking at. I did do a quick video of a live walk around video of some of the stuff that was here, but you can see the Mark 1 Puntos were here, some Lancias, a lot of Barchettas, X19s, variety of stuff, and some non-Fiats, including, well, Volvo of course, and the Citroen DS, which is rather lovely. And yeah, anyway, it's been a bit of an adventure driving up here. It's never that much of an exciting drive from Kent up to the British Motor Museum. It's just all motorway, about two plus hours of trundling basically. There's a very, very pretty Alfa there. And I love this little Fiat van as well. That's lovely. But anyway, that was only the first one. Black Barchetta, sorry, so many lovely cars here. So many lovely cars. I've really enjoyed looking around this stuff today. I do love an Italian car, as you know. But I'm not heading home right now. The drive up was relatively uneventful. Saw a couple of quite interesting cars. Lovely little 59 Beetle going through the roadworks on the M25, and later on saw a Honda NSX, which is quite nice. Those are the two highlights of my initial journey. Punto, of course, did fabulously. It's a 1.2 fire. It's never going to break, and if it does break, it'll keep on getting you where you need to go. But I'm not going home now, as I say. I'm heading off to a wedding in Lincolnshire, which is very much the wrong direction. Oh, I didn't see that one. Sorry, you probably can't see it. It's a Fiat 131 Racing. Wow, lovely. So yes, I'm heading to Lincolnshire. So I'm having a bit of a tour around the east of the country, the Midlands and the East Midlands, I think you might want to call it. In my little 1.2, whoa, I did, very kindly was given a couple of things by Vernon for me hoo-ha thingamajig. So step 1 is get away from Birmingham. Well, step 0.5 is call into Gilk's Cafe, which is just around the corner, and grab myself a coffee for the drive. I don't do bad coffee in the BMM, but Gilk's is really good coffee. So Gilk's or Jilk's, I don't ask them that. We'll call in there very quickly, grab a coffee, and then what I thought I'd do is a little bit of a tour around bomber country in a tiny Fiat. Because going back to the Second World War, Kent, where I'm from, that was fighter country. All the fighter bases were all around where I live. So the Spitfires and the Hurricanes and what have you, they have been very much buzzing like flies through the sky. Up this part of the world, or Lincolnshire part of the world, bomber country. It's where the Lancasters, the Wellingtons, the Blenheims, and a lot of the Americans as well were all stationed. Now the little Spiritoda Punto, not quite as lively as say the Mini, which is a very similar size, but it's a smaller engine and wasn't aimed at the sportier drive. There's a lot more body roll in this car than in the Mini. But it is still quite an entertaining wee thing. But you do get into the twisty turns, no power steering, and the many turns lock to lock do really come into effect, and you notice that quite a lot. But you know what they say, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a good cup of coffee. They're open, hurrah! Well, we made it, but literally only just. They were just closing, just turned the coffee machine off. I managed to grab a cup of coffee and a wee bit of cake, so I'm using the tea shelf in earnest whilst I do a quick Google on some locations. Lincolnshire Aviation Heritage Centre, International Bomber Command Museum, however, Thorpe Visitor Centre. There's a few places we can go to. Well, it's 1 hour 52 to the Bomber Command Museum, which will get me there about 5 minutes before it shuts. But hey, let's go and have a look. It's only 102 miles away. Lovely cake, by the way.
Starting route to LN4 to HQ.
Right, I've had cake, I've got coffee, it's time to hit the road. Should arrive at 5:25, which is actually after the closing time of the museum. Oh well, at least we get to look in the window. Well, this is very sweet round here. This is Kinnerton, I believe. So, we'll exit the cuteness overload of Kinnerton, head back towards Gaydon, then get onto the road. It's quite a long drive to Lincolnshire from here. And now we're flowing down the country lanes. There's going to be a fair amount of this kind of road going forward, as they say in big organisations. Because I'm not sure there's a real motorway that goes east-west at this point in the country. A bit of dual carriageway here and there. But I do quite like having a motoring adventure in a slightly unlikely car. Now, I don't know if any of my car radio restoration type viewers might be able to answer this question, but a lot of my older car radios, my 80s, 90s cars, they get the really powerful stations. When I'm back at home, Radio 1 and 2, Heart, and those kind of stations. But as soon as I get away from home area, I can't get any signal at all. I just get nothing but crackles everywhere. Why is that? Is there a component, a specific component, that starts to go failing, breaky? Tell me that, please. I'd like to know. Kind of back where we started, pretty much. It's only a 5-minute detour off the main road, but it's a nice little cafe, and I'm eating gluten-free, and they do amazing cake. And that cake was so nice, that lemon drizzle. I had to run back in and ask to make sure that was really gluten-free cake because it was so nice. And towards Birmingham, I've never taken this exit before in this direction. This is new and exciting. Whee! All of the lanes. Let's look another Fiat and Friends friend on the way out of the show. Do love a barchetta, especially in Broom Yellow. Heading off towards, where are we heading off onto? A45. Exciting times. I quite like those Defenders in a way. I just wish they were about 3/4 of the size and came with a manual option, then I'll be right in the queue to go and buy one. Oh, and I'm buying onto the A46, so I'll give you a bit of a heads up on what's been going on in terms of distance. We've got 79 miles to go and 1 hour 25. I've now covered 169 miles today so far, and it's used a third of a tank of petrol in this little 1.2 fire-powered Punto. And now, we're heading towards Leicester apparently. Considering this is an old car manufacturing area, haven't really seen a lot of exciting stuff around here. There's a little Caterham, there's that barchetta, and that's basically it. What a sad state of affairs. That is very, very cool. Caddy, what's that, 58 I believe? Very, very nice indeed. Heading east, but according to the sign in capitals, we're heading to the north. And Nottingham. When I planned this journey, my idea was it was too far to drive back from Birmingham or Gaydon back down to Kent again and then back up to Lincolnshire tomorrow. But I thought it wasn't that far really from so Birmingham in the Midlands up to Lincolnshire in the East Midlands. Turns out it's actually quite a way. Whenever I say, oh, I wish I had aircon in my 90s cars, people always comment, oh, it didn't have an aircon in the 90s, it was absolutely fine. But I remember being really hot, sticky and uncomfortable in cars in the 80s and 90s and really wishing there was some way of making it cooler. So I think there was a demand and a desire for it even back then. It's not just me being soft and modern. 1.8 miles to make it to the next junction, and we've got a truck trying to kill us. do love a motorway services with a bridge where you can stop and look out at the traffic going underneath you. I love that. Not enough, certainly none of the new motorway services have got that, but the old original 50s, 60s ones, that was a real thing. Eat your dinner in a fancy restaurant looking at the motorway. Mostly stuck at Burger King or a Starbucks now, but still, I absolutely love that. I should have stopped there. Damn it, why didn't I stop there? It's probably a little late to go into a three-point turn. So it's sort of going past Newark-ish at the moment. This road, this is the A46, it's about as close as you're going to get to the Midwestern roads in America. We just go on and on and on and on. I'm not 100% sure which county I'm in at the moment, but I'm very close indeed to Lincoln. So I'm probably in the edge of Lincolnshire at the moment. But just saw a sign off that last roundabout saying Air Museum. And bear in mind it's now 5:05, it's probably shut. But I don't know which air museum it is, so I'm curious to go and have a quick look. And since we're having an explore, might as well do some exploring. That's not an entrance. Museum next left. We've entrance to Newark Air Museum. Okay, I think I've been here before. So where's the entrance? It said 250 metres or yards or something. Yards, I think it said. Must be this. Ah, this is well disguised. As museums go, this is well concealed. I think it might have closed about 10 minutes ago.
To the route. Proceed to the route.
Nice synchro.
Proceed to the route.
Yeah, I've been here before, but I think it's closed by the looks of it. Oh, that's a shame. I'll show you through the fence, whatever I can of it. Closing time was 5 o'clock. They very kindly let me just run inside to give you a quick look around at what is in here. This is something I definitely want to come back to and visit when it's not closed, but we've got a lot of cool stuff here. So if you're into your helicopters, we've got the Westland Wessex, which is absolutely enormous when you get up close. A few other things. You think, oh, like Canberra. A picture taken from a Canberra. This is very much the star of the show. We've got ourselves an Avro Vulcan. This is a legend and a beast. And there's not a lot of crew space up there because mostly this thing is payload for bombs. Basically a Concorde of destruction. Designed by the same guy who designed the Lancaster. Over there we've got Shackleton. And yeah, a lot of other interesting things. So yes, I promised there'd only be a moment or two just to give you an overview. So see what you can come back to and visit. Definitely I want to come back here with more time. I'm sure I came here a few years ago. Really, really interesting looking museum. Last admission, I think 4 o'clock. So thanks to the guys for letting me in because this place looks great. Well, that was kind of fun, although very brief indeed. Yeah, because I thought I'd be leaving Fiat and Friends at midday, end up not leaving till about 3, so I'm kind of a little bit behind schedule for my early part of this adventure. But the thing about Lincolnshire, because it was all the bomber stations up here, big airfields, lots of large empty spaces, and there still is a lot of large empty spaces up here because a lot of farmland, huge county. So yeah, it really does lend itself well to this kind of, as this place is volunteer-run air museum with some incredible planes, and of course the official International Bomber Command Museum, which we're heading to. Lots of little memorials and other smaller museums as well, using a lot of the old RAF, USAF infrastructure that was here from the Second World War and left over. So we're back on track now. So phone's just slid under my little Italian flag that I picked up at the show, and I can't see where I'm going now. Hopefully that's the right exit. Yep, it all slid again, that's all good. So I'll quickly mention the Punto as we're into Bomber County now, Bomber Country. This little thing's done brilliantly. This car's got 57,700 odd miles on the clock. So for a car that's 30 years old this year, that's not really very many miles at all. Put it in context, my daily Mercedes thingy, that's got 131,000 on it. So different levels of use. But so far today, touch wood and all that, this thing has not really put a foot wrong. It's been comfortable, it's been quiet. The radio not working is a bit irritating, so I've had to have my headphones in quite a lot to listen to stuff. That's really the only problem. Oh mate, fuel injection light has flashed on a couple of times. I mentioned it to friends at the Fiat thing. Probably a MAF sensor maybe, but the car like this will just keep on going even with the MAF not working at all, pretty much. It will get there. And it has been really good on fuel. 240 miles, used about half a tank now, which gives us a range of just shy of 500 miles. But if I've been going a bit more gently than I have been at times, then this would definitely be a 500 mile tank of fuel, which for a little tiny car like this, that's quite stunning. This is not so saying any anti-EV vitriol as a model, I think it's a Model 3, no, Model, I don't know what model it is, Model Y comes past. Electric cars are getting better all the time and have their place, but there's not many cars of this size in the EV world that can do 500 miles on a single charge. And my pit stops, as such as they were today, have literally been run to the loo, grab a drink on the way out, back on the road again, not stopping more than 4 or 5 minutes. I don't stop for a long coffee. If I buy a coffee on the road, I don't sit and drink it. I get back in the car with it and keep on moving. The road is to be driven. You can tell I must be in Lincolnshire now because I'm 12 miles away from my destination, and suddenly the ETA is double the number of miles, which is what happens when you get to Lincolnshire because the roads get smaller and smaller. I was expecting my route through rural Lincolnshire to be a bit more, well, rural than back end of a large town. I appear to be driving into Lincoln. Lincoln hasn't got a ULEZ scheme, has it? I'm going to have to Google that in a bit. Oh, Christ. Never even thought of that. Mind you, the phone never mentioned it when I put the address in, so hopefully not. Alright. Bearing in mind, bomber stations tend to be in, well, large empty fields of fields. This is looking slightly more like how I was expecting this place to look. It will of course be shut by the time I get down this driveway. International Bomber Command Centre. Closed for a private function. I wonder if I can just drive down there a wee way. It's an impressive building. Got something at Millbrook. Good way of keeping your speed down. No, I can't go in tonight because there is actually a wedding. But it does though mean I can come up to the front of the place. It's quite an impressive sculpture of the Lancaster out the front. It's quite an impressive piece, isn't it? So yet another place we'll have to come back when it's not 6 PM on a Saturday when they're very much closed. My tour is going well. I'm seeing all the places I could see if they were open. Right, so unfortunately couldn't go in there, but you know, after hours proves a bit of a long shot anyway. So now we're moving on to the Lincolnshire Aviation Heritage Centre, where I believe they have a Lancaster called Just Jane, which is airworthy but isn't licensed to fly.
Take the second exit onto Lincoln Road.
But does do fast taxi runs. And that's the thing where they've got the grass runway, but it's not long enough to land on. They could probably take off, but if they ever did, they could never land it back there again. So it's restricted to fast taxiing. It's going to be 45 minutes to do the 29 miles to get there. That's, I think, East Kirkby, it just said. So we're going to have a little bit of a run through Well, hopefully some more rural, more interesting roads now. Let the Punto stretch its legs a bit more. It's Hippo! See the scourge of all of Britain, house builders destroying every bit of farmland they can find. It is as busy up here as it is down in Kent. Now if there's one thing that Lincolnshire is well known for, it's being flat. And I think this road does actually quite well illustrate that's not entirely accurate. There's a lot of hills going up and down here. I will mention, if anyone's going to point out I'm doing 54 miles an hour and a 50 limit, my speedo reads at least 5% fast. So I know that I'm doing 55 on the indicator on the speedo, I'm doing about 50 in real life. Metheringham. Interesting little names are up around here. Ruskington, Metheringham, Billingham. You can kind of tell you're in Lincolnshire just from the names of the villages and towns.
In 8.3 miles.
Now this is the Lincolnshire I'm used to. Amazing winding roads, clear sight lines, and someone with a tent box or a tractor or an old person doing barely 40 miles an hour and a 60 limit. Yep, this is what I've got used to over the last couple of decades visiting with the in-laws. Mr. Slow Driving Holiday Zafira was doing me head in, so I thought it'd be a good opportunity to just give you a little reminder as to what I'm actually doing this journey in. Small car, big miles and all that. This is my 1993 Fiat Punto 1.2 75 ELX, the oldest Fiat Punto right-hand drive in the world. Well, certainly in Britain anyways, but the club is aware of. It's a lovely little car, really is nice to drive. A little bit of rust on this arch, which is going to get taken care of when the Rover 400 comes out of the body shop. Likewise, this area down here will get that sorted out at the same time as well. It's a fantastic little low mileage survivor that's been through a few people in weird car Twitter and the Fiat Owners Club world. For such a small car, and it is, I think, either my second or third smallest car after the 69 Mark II Mini, and I don't know if it's smaller than or as small as my R50 Mini, but the 5-door, tons of headroom, tons of legroom, loads of elbow room. Let's pop the bonnet quickly. Let's give you a quick look under the bonnet of this thing. Since I've had it, I've done a cam belt on it, I've done oil change, basic service. I put a new UASA battery onto the thing. This is just a bit dusty, it needs a bit of a clean up again. It's done a fair few miles since I've had it. But yeah, this just polishes up to basically like new under here. Something I need to be cracking on with, I think, actually, again, pretty soon. But yeah, a little 1.2 multi-point injection fire! Such a simple and, well, brilliant little car. It just runs and runs and runs. It also has a really useful interior. The early 1990s, things suddenly became so much more practical than in the 1980s. We haven't got cup holders yet, but we have got door pockets, we've got lots of cubbies for storage, got a great T-shell, which I've used today. Fantastic velour. The velour is excellent. The velour drew me to this car when I first saw it. And of course, we've got a 5-speed manual gearbox, which is just the kind of thing I like. Not an automatic. So good. It's a shame it's a private road. It looks like a racetrack down there. This is very Lincolnshire. Little fluffy clouds, big blue skies, the orb. Might have been thinking around here when they wrote that song. Has got
Proceed to the route.
I'm proceeding to the route.
Turn left.
I'm turning left.
In 1 mile, turn left onto
hangars, maybe. The round one, obviously, not the big ATCO shed. A lot of old buildings which look like they're definitely left over from the war. Which, you forget how long ago that was now. Where the hell is this? I wasn't expecting this one. This is a bonus one. Methering Airfield.
30 yards, right.
They closed at 5, so only an hour and a half after closing time. But hey, I'm sure they'll be happy to see us. But this is a bonus one, which I didn't know was here. Metheringham. Metheringham. Sounds like it's said by Stewie Griffin. Metheringham.
Bear right, then bear right.
Shush, sorry. I will in a second. Through that gate is an air museum, which we're not going to go to tonight. Generally, these kind of closed type museums, you can get
5.5 miles.
to a fence or a gate and have a quick look through. Not today. Not today. It is properly warm now. It's humid. Humid in Metheringham. Well, I've learned something. I didn't know that was there. This might be a city car, but these really are good roads for this little thing. A lot of 60 and 40 limits, and it's happy at both of those speeds. They're also quite twisty and fun. It's not a fast car. Here we go. Village of Martin, Lancaster on the sign. Couldn't have planned that better. As I was saying, it's not a fast car, but at these kind of speeds, you can actually really quite enjoy the thing. It's 40 miles an hour hurtling through some twisty lanes, and it's feeling like it's on the edge. 60 miles an hour, you're living a life. In a Porsche or something rapid, 60 miles an hour around the twisties can feel boringly slow. Whoa. That's another Lincolnshire thing. The road's falling into the dikes all the time. Because there's a lot of drainage basically going on off the fields. And the roads are kind of raised up. So it does feel like the roads have become a roller coaster, ready to just tip you in at any moment. Because the roads are built up on these raised dyases in between two great big ditches either side, and they over time kind of drop into the edge, off the edge, whatever you want to say it. It's a lot of landscape. This is an enormous county. It's one of the biggest counties in the country. But because so much of it's farmland, it kind of gets a little bit overlooked and forgotten. Now, my big fear on roads like this, especially in a car like this with no airbags, these long straight roads, you can sort of see them undulating up and down. And you see headlights and things. Also you see heat haze. A lot of people overtake really dangerously. I believe Lincolnshire has the proud honour of some of the most dangerous roads in the UK, largely because of a lot of agricultural vehicles and a lot of young drivers who get very impatient. Not just young drivers, frankly, all kinds of people get impatient. Welcome to East Lindsey. Lindsey, let's off-road. Right, we're heading into Woodall Spa now. Now, Woodall Spa was, or still is, in fact, very, very close to Coningsby, where the Red Arrows are actually based, along with the Battle of Britain memorial flight, where you might have seen on the news a few weeks ago, very, very unfortunately, the Spitfire crashed not far from here, which is very, very sad indeed. Where exactly is Abbey Lane? That surely isn't Abbey Lane. Apparently it is.
In 1 mile, turn right onto Tattershall Road.
This is one of those sat-nav wild goose chase, is this really a road kind of roads. This is not a road I want to take the Crown Vic down. Ah. Oh, do a little non-aviation sidebar just here. Kirkstead Abbey. This is all that's left of a monastery, Cistercian monastery from 1139. Unfortunately, the Punto has off-road spec suspension, so we can poodle up here.
Proceed to the road.
Shush, I'm proceeding. I don't know why people think they need SUVs to explore places. This is a tiny 1.2 litre, basically a city car, and it can do better than a Cybertruck in pretty much any situation. So yeah, I'll jump you out of the car in a second and show you this place. I've got to reverse back down here, what a flump. So this improbable piece of architecture is all that's left of a 1,000-year-old abbey. Quite an impressive little structure, isn't it? I imagine it's quite a big building that would have gone all the way over here 1,000 years ago. We are, of course, now literally in the middle of nowhere, and I've got to reverse down a long track, so I'm not going to try turning around in there. Definitely a Cybertruck would get stuck in that. Did I mention I'm going to a wedding tomorrow? I need not to get stuck in a field tonight. See the Punto? It looks at home anywhere. It looks really good on a little dirt track just there. Whilst I'm being fascinated by that thing. I'm going to grab some real photos of that because that's pretty cool. My custom cup holder. Let's grab a real camera. Well, that was a fun little diversion, but I have now got to reverse out of here. Dad mode engage. Again, this road looks more severe than most of the Cybertruck off-road videos that I've seen. Pothole incoming. Okay, let's head back to where we're going to be going. Hairy Plains. Now, the junction we've just come out of, roughly there, by that pub, I was coming back from a car show and the Rover P6 V8 went out its original terrible engine in it, and the alternator pulley fell off. Funny, weirdly, I was telling someone the story this morning. Yeah, it fell off. I managed to see where everything went, so I pulled over, found everything. I was just wondering how to put it back together again. And someone in an E-Type turned up and said, "Do you want to borrow a tool?" And he lent me some tools or spanners out of his Jaguar E-Type, factory toolkit. I said, "There you go. Just post them back when you get done, when you get home. I mean, in case they fall off again," which is extremely kind. RAF Woodhall, still a place. Central Thorpe, here we go. Looks like an actual ranch just there, wow! It's a little piece of the Midwest in the middle of Lincolnshire. Again, just found somewhere else I was not navigating to, but I'd forgotten about. Okay, this one's closed. I'll jump you out of the car to show you this one too. Thorpe Camp Visitor Centre. This is quite a cool place. So 97 Squadron, 619 Squadron, 617 Squadron, and 627 Squadron based here in what is now just woods. And this is a Lancaster propeller, recovered from the Wash, which is a bit of sea near here. Dedicated to the personnel. Royal and Allied Air Forces have served in the Royal Air Force at Woodall Spa since 1942. So, no dumping, not even in the toilets. So we've got some cool stuff here. This is the helicopter over there. Now, I'm not a missile expert. I'm sure someone will tell me what that is. I do know that's a Lightning though. And these old sheds have got an awful lot of very interesting artefacts. And of course there's the memorial over there in the distance with the flags flying next to it. I have of course come in the wrong time of day. Let's press on again. Wow, check this bad boy coming the other way. Deuce and a half. Sounded good. Look at that, there's half a windmill over there. Oh my word. I'm always going to stop and look at a classic Mini for sale. Not cheap though, are they? Lovely, really cool colours, a metallic orange and a solid orange. Wow, must get mine done. We'll talk about that more in another video. The third one will be, there's 4 Minis in there. Last time I drove past this place a couple of years ago, it was all over 75s from memory. Right, righty-ho, back on track. 5 minutes from what I'm probably going to make our final destination for this evening. Here we are. It is, as I say, close now because it's actually 7:15. Aviation Heritage Centre. So Lincolnshire Aviation Heritage Centre. At the gate we have got the memorial, the official memorial, in memory of those who gave their lives with 57 and 630 squadrons, 1939. Oh, sorry, didn't hoot then. My mistake. So I'm guessing air shows on this weekend, as there's lots of camping and stuff going on. More off-roading. Let's just stop here a minute. Just putting the Lancaster away now. Lucky to see that. That's really cool. Hang on, I'm just going to grab a quick photo on my phone. Bye. Very lucky indeed to just walk in at the right time, just as they're pushing the Lancaster back into its hangar. What a lucky break. Really wasn't expecting to see that today. So it's in the Vulcan and the Lancaster now. When I said we caught this just in the nick of time, I wasn't kidding. Putting the toys to bed properly. Escape. We'll lock us in to East Kirby Airfield, home of the 57th and 630th Squadrons. That was really exciting to get to see that. I'm genuinely amazed and impressed that we got that. Yeah, just 2 minutes later, we wouldn't have seen the Lancaster. Right, I have to navigate to my... This is a really good museum to visit. Maybe not when the air show's on, because it's going to be really, really busy.
Right onto Main Road.
But if you turn up here when they're doing one of the taxi days, you see the thing going back and forth with the engines running up, and it is absolutely deafening. And it looks like there is, I want to say, scant regard for health and safety. I mean, that is pushing the word scant as far as you possibly can. Because when you've got a heavy bomber
2.2 miles, turn left onto Boston Road.
with 4 giant propellers churning away and people pretty close up. You think it's a recipe for disaster, but so far no one's lost too many limbs. Gosh, hold on. That's a cool spot for a photo. I need to go and do photos there. Damn it. More distractions! Oh my goodness. There's nothing but distractions on this route today. Well, that was an unexpected bonus find. I didn't think I'd be stopping to look at, well, it looks like a derelict petrol station from somewhere in the middle of America. Really cool spot. I've taken a note of that location because I'm planning on coming back and doing some actual photography of a car there. I don't know what car, but a car. Watch the building itself, come back with some other equipment. This has been really the tiniest taste of some of the aviation heritage that is lurking around Lincolnshire, because everywhere you go there seems to be a memorial or a small museum or something dedicated to, well, Bomber Command and the aviation history of the place. It's the West Keel and the Wolds now, because we've been incredibly lucky today. I mean, the chance of running into a Lancaster and a Vulcan in the same day after closing time, I might add, is pretty slim, but we've done well. We've found both of those things. We spent the day in the little Punto, seen some incredible heritage and some incredible mechanical engineering genius, and of course a Lancaster and a Vulcan, hey, and seen some pretty good roads. Right, it's Boston to the right, Skegness and Grimsby to the left. We're heading coastbound here. Everyone around here seems to sell produce at their doorstep, and they all call potatoes pops and tates. Mostly tates, I've noticed. It does make me think, whenever I hear the singer Tate McRae on the radio, does that mean her actual name is Potato McRae? I don't know. I suspect it probably isn't. And I cannot tell you how many caravans and camper vans I've followed down this road painfully slowly. But before I set off this morning, Mrs. F said, "Are you sure that little Punto is going to be okay?" And I was like, I don't have a single doubt in my mind about that Punto. It is fantastic, and it really has been as good as I could have hoped it could be. You know, I thought we'd done all of our stops for the night, but I just remembered there is one more, and this one we can get to, and it won't be closed. This journey over the last 25 odd years I've been doing it, although the route is much the same, the journey has just changed so much driving up to this part of the world. It used to be like a 2.5, maybe 3 hour drive from home to here. Now it's more like a 5 hour drive on a good day. Not just because of speed cameras, which does keep everyone a bit slower, but the level of traffic and the rerouting of some of the roads has not been good. This road is a 60 limit. In a more modern car, hello Mr. Magpie, where's Mrs. Magpie? It can feel a bit restricted, but in a car like this, not even hitting 60, and it feels so much fun. It's like a racetrack in a good, responsible kind of way, not an irresponsible, reckless driving kind of a way, I hasten to add. As I said earlier, people say Lincolnshire is flat. This is very, very not flat. The sunlight on those fields is absolutely incredible right now. The colours and the contrasts are amazing. Unfortunately, I've just had a phone call a few minutes ago when I was at the petrol station thing, saying I need to finally get to where I'm going and stop faffing around and get on with it. So I'm now getting on with it. But here is one final faff. So this is actually a memorial to a shot down Lancaster, victim of the Luftwaffe on the 4th of March 1945, Lancaster PB476, number 12 Squadron. This was placed here on the 50th anniversary of it being shot down. It's a beautiful location. There's actually some camping just down that track, I think. We camped there in the Mondeo a couple of years ago. Nice site, but a beautiful spot. Nonetheless, as I say, there are little bits of history, if you're into aviation, that kind of thing, just scattered around absolutely everywhere. I'm being bitten by flies now. I'm going to get back on the car. So once again, back on the road. My small Fiat journey continues into the night. Onward for Chinese takeaway at the seaside. Because we're going to get Chinese takeaway if I can find a cash point, because I don't take credit cards, or any kind of cards in fact. This is a fun little car. It's a little heavy at low speed, but get it out on the open road and it really just flies. The Italians love driving, and they love driving quickly. And they've got lots of roads that are meandering and twisting, so they build cars that are just perfect for it. Who doesn't love an Italian car? People without souls, that's who. So it's another day back on the road again in the Punto, heading home away from Bomber country back to Spitfire country, but we've got one more last minute stop to throw in on the way through, which I knew about, it's one I've been to before, but wasn't sure I was going to be going past, but in fact making a bit of a diversion for. A quick stat or two for the stat lovers: we've done 332 miles the last couple of days. Didn't drive really at all yesterday. I brimmed the car before we left, brimmed at a very cheap petrol station in Ilford, and worked out the MPG. This thing's done 47 miles per gallon, which I think is astonishingly good. For a 30-year-old car, it's like technology's gone backwards over the last few years. This thing is sipping so frugally, it's untrue. So in many ways, it does make it the perfect road trip companion. It's got a long way for not much petrol. I mean, that is as good as eco-motoring gets, really, isn't it? A car that's been on the road for 30 years still gets almost 50 to the gallon. Probably would get 50 to the gallon if I wasn't, well, a bit more gentle with the accelerator. And we are here, our final stop for this adventure. What is now Lynx Aquatics and a garden centre and a caravan park. I mean, it's what they would have wanted. Hang on, so let's pull up and have a quick look around. Strubby Airfield, many years ago. So this windswept field here, now a fish shop. Wait, as in aquatics rather than exotic fish, not cod. Was once RAF Strubby. So these are a few of the remaining buildings that are here. So as you drive in, there is a little memorial to the many, many different squadrons and aircraft, and the many men who served here as well, and women of course. So you've got Bomber Command, 619-227 Squadron 5 Group. And the Lancasters, different dates there, 44 through 45 different years. You've got 5 different squadrons and the Air College just there. So the place was open from 1944 to 1972, so quite late in the war this place was operational. And of course you've got Coastal Command there as well, through all the different times in 1944, anything around the back. Yes, more around the back as well. RAF College of Warfare and Air Warfare. Interesting place. So I think these grey buildings are all the newer stuff, but then around here we've got the original. You see anything inside? No, empty. But yeah, a lot of the old RAF buildings with the genuine asbestos roofs. So if the Luftwaffe don't get you, your accommodation will. This is an interesting kind of place, a memorial that is semi-derelict but also very complete in what is here still. I guess because it was still operational in the early 70s, which is admittedly 50 years ago, just on farmland basically. There's a lot of information up here about all the different aircraft and crews. So if you want to come up here, head for Thorpe Garden Centre, and it's right next door. So this memorial was only unveiled in 2014. This place must have been absolutely packed with hangars and these Anderson shelters and whatever. You're just packing all these guys in, and the aircraft and all the ground crew. It must have been absolutely bustling, but we are just surrounded by fields as far as you can see. I mean, there's all hangars down the far end. I think it is an operational airfield still. I think they do gliding from here. It's nice there is still some, you know, air activity going on, because so many of these old airfields became, well, racetracks, like Silverstone, for example. In the post-war years, so many of the old airfields did just become that. They became the famous racetracks, but so many just got built on, ignored, forgotten about, really, which is kind of sad. So yeah, as you drive onto the old runway, rather interesting, because this is the most complete, perhaps, of the surviving sites we've driven onto. Got the old control tower there. Well, I assume that's the old, but that looks like a newer control tower than 1944. There's a few cars just dotted around, so I do wonder if people come up here just to have a little look around. I think they use this as like a go-kart track. It would be a great fun go-kart track. Technically, we're finishing our little adventure around Lincolnshire with a track day. Admittedly not a very fast track day, but a track day nonetheless. God, it's amazing how many of the old buildings survive. Wow, so this is just yet more and more of the old airfield, and you see all the concrete has been dredged up. I'm not sure I'll go much further than this. It's getting a little bit overgrown. Don't really want a flat tyre in the middle of nowhere for no reason. Yeah. So yet another of the old airfields that are pressed into service. They pulled out the farmland from nothing in no time at all, pressed into service, and then kept on going. A lot of them kept on going through the Cold War years, like this one was, through 72. Then of course there's the need for all these sites diminished. Just went back to nature. Or in this case, there's a sign on this hut. Yeah, the Woodthorpe Kart Club. I'm going to spin you around quickly because there's quite a lot to see out that window. So yeah, all these old buildings were all RAF buildings from many, many years ago. I don't know, I think the ones in front of us are probably 1940s. The grey one to the right might have been 1940s, could be 50s or 60s. That's obviously a newer one, the big green one, that's much newer. But yeah, an interesting site. Right, I need a cup of tea. So let's hit the road and head for Kent. Just take the slalom, because we are basically in a tiny go-kart of a car here. Yay, track day! Yeah, I'm going to take that as a track day. We've definitely done a track day now in the Punto. I'm sure that's legit. You'll agree with it, won't you? So yeah, thank you RAF Strubby. That was rather fun. So now we head off to link up with Mrs. Furious Jr. to convoy our way home. But we'll meet up in Spalding, I think. Go have a little walk somewhere there. This is a weird junction, this really is. It's kind of like someone designed 4 junctions and then put them all in the same place, but hadn't really thought about how they'd fit together. Well, if you made it to the end of this video, well done, because I've trimmed this down quite significantly to nearly an hour long after all the many, many miles of driving. That's 523 miles in a weekend in the Punto, which is not bad for a little city car to be trudging around the countryside. Well done, little Fiat. So well done to you for sticking around to the end of this video if you have. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe of course. Let me know if you like this kind of adventure, just exploring the countryside and enjoying a car as it is meant to be. If you do, we'll do some more of these. There's lots of stuff. Obviously, there's lots to look around here in Kent as well, and all the other counties around the country need a bit more exploring too. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Goodbye. Back with the tinkering and car reviews soon.